This is Heart to Heart with Sibongile Mofokeng on Radio Pulpit. Heart to Heart.
That is Sibongile Mofokeng coming out from the news with the title Covenant. Beautiful. I remember talking to Sibongile Mofokeng all the way from ekhaya ngalingasesayitini zaboma Peter Maritzburg zaboma Debeni, but she came all the way to Radio Pulpit. What was such an awesome, wonderful young woman who loves the Lord, and the music is just out of here. Not your ordinary, new sound, new everything. This is the David generation. Or Moruti Ganjan, we love new stuff, right?
Wow, I was just telling you that you are new yourself. Can you people believe it? We are talking about a youth event. And I'm like, Sibongile, I want you to come to this youth event. She's like, but do you think I'm youth?
I wanna wait.
No. If you ask the listeners, they'll tell you from what we are judging from your voice. Definitely, you are still within the youth bracket.
You'd be surprised because when I go out, so you are there, especially when I was thinner than now.
Okay,
then I'm like, you're the one.
That's speaking on radio.
We thought it's a big, tall.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so your voice is actually bigger than
and tall.
How you really look.
Yeah, and tall.
And how do you get that? Is it a compliment to you?
Well, I don't know how I feel about it. I just embrace it because it's coming from family members.
Oh, wow, great one.
So
great
today
stuff.
we're talking about investment scams.
Oh my goodness.
And you'll be sharing your own journey.
Yeah.
So family, if you don't know, I am with Pastor Lebepe in the studio today. We're talking about investment scams. He's the author of the book Life After Death.
Correct.
I want the last phrase.
Life after death. Oh, a guide to wealth creation and a debt-free life. A guide to wealth creation and a
debt-free life. It's all about that when you hear the name Lebepe. Muruti, so we are also opening it for our family members to say if you have experienced
a scam. An investment scam. By the way, there's investment
there are many scams.
There's investment schemes. And then there's investment scams. So today we want to talk. We want to hear those who say, "Yeah, I've been scammed. How much?"
Yeah, when we talk investment, people do invest quite a lot of money.
They do, right?
Yeah.
Actually, people gave us, especially to me, gave as much money in the church as they were investing.
Sure.
It's a joke. It's a pastoral joke.
No,
but I'm just saying, when it comes to investing, the willingness to pay is always high. But for some reason, people are not keen to give as much as they want to invest.
So, but family, the lines will be open for you on 012-334-1322 and our SMS line 37871, our WhatsApp line. I gave the WhatsApp line 37871. That's the SMS. Our WhatsApp line 082-657-2729. 082-657-2729. So, Moruti, when we're talking about investment scams, what exactly are we talking about? What does it look like?
Investment scams, in simple terms, is investment that went wrong. Ooh, just when you thought, I have this investment. Obviously, when you invest, you are expecting a return.
Yep.
There's a difference between saving money and investing money. And the differentiation, we always say that saving money, it's setting money aside or putting money aside for a purpose you are saving. But investing is sending away money on a journey for a for a return. When you send money away for a return, we say that you have invested. But when you put money away for a particular purpose, you have saved. Example, you're putting 1,000 rand every month for 12 months so that you can use that money to pay school fees next year. That's not investment, that's saving. You're putting away money the whole year so that you can use it in this for a December vacation. That's savings. But you have got 12,000, which comes from 1,000 rand you've been putting away every month, and in December you hear that there is an investment opportunity where they tell you that if you give us this 12,000 in 3 months, we are going to give it back to you as 60,000. And now that's where investment schemes comes in.
Yeah, because I wanted you to differentiate because you said schemes and scams.
Yes, but now once you lose your money, once you don't get what you were expecting, you have been scammed, and that's a scam.
Okay.
So a lot of
But
people
so you-
who were scammed thought they were in who were scammed. They thought they were in an investment scheme, only to find that they are in an investment scam. That means the people who were receiving their investments were actually scamming them, robbing them, running away with their money ultimately. And they lost both their capital investment as well as the promised rate of return.
Is it like
yes.
what happened in Limpopo?
Okay, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but it
The
happens
bank.
everywhere. Oh, yes.
The
Okay, the bank
bank
issue, basically.
issue,
Yeah, because you
yes.
have people putting in money. But I mean, I'm sure our listeners will be able to share with us their experiences, because these things happen almost each and every day. You know, I was watching a documentary of a lady that says she was scammed. Well, she spoke about the US dollars, but the South African equivalence of that money should have been in excess of about 2 million rands. And she said this is a person that came to her. She was running sort of a convenience shop, and this person, or a grocery store basically, and then this person comes and buy groceries from her at the teller or the counter.
Yeah.
And then the person said, guess what, I am actually from a royal family in Africa, and I am the prince, and my family owns
From
diamonds. My family owns diamonds and all of that. And the individual gave her social media platforms or handles. And she said, I wanted to do a due diligence and just check and see what kind of a person is this. And she said, when I looked at in Instagram and look at other social platforms, I saw that he was taking pictures with the most famous and the richest people of the world.
Yeah.
And he was, showcasing good life forever in private jets, in expensive hotels, in boutiques, and just living the life that displays wealth. And she said because of the way he displayed his life on social media, she believed that this was genuinely someone who had access to these mineral businesses that he was promising. And ultimately, the guy said, look, I just feel a connection with you somehow. I feel like I have a burden to help you get rich. And I want you to put in an investment of 500,000 USD. And she said, that's how it started. And she said, he looked believable because he had what it looks like he had what he said he had. I mean, he would be seen driving in most expensive cars on social media and so forth. And she said she made a first payout of 500,000. And at first it was an issue of, okay, we can't get the money to come through to you as yet because there's transfer duties, there's this and that needs to happen. But don't worry, this is the record of the people that I have assisted. You can call these people. And what I want to say about investment scams, Sibongile, is that they have a tendency of looking and sounding extremely
Very good.
genuine. Not just good, but genuine. I mean, the people that some people have become professional con artists. They know how to speak to you in a way that will get you believe that what they are promising.
But if it's too good to be true,
then it's too good to be true, right? Let me share with you an experience, one other experience of a friend of mine at church. So this person basically said that they wanted to buy an RDP house, right?
Okay.
And then they came to me for advice and said, listen, I want to buy an RDP house and basically start out some investment apartment. So I'll demolish it and build some rooms, and I can do apartments there.
Okay.
And I said, wow, let me caution you. There's quite a lot of scams going out there of people who claim to be, selling RDP houses and so forth. So there's a number of things we have to actually make sure before we know that we are dealing with a legitimate agency and business.
And how do you sell an RDP house?
That's a topic for another day. And then what happened is, I said, the first thing that you need to do is you should actually drive to this RDP in question
and see it.
Not just see it, but go inside. If there are people there, ask them if they know.
And go unannounced, right?
Yes, go unannounced.
Okay.
Get there, ask the people who stay there if they know this owner who claims to be selling that particular house, and if they know that the house is being sold. And he did exactly that. So he went there unannounced, found people who were tenants, asked them questions, and they agreed. They said, yes, we know the person you're talking about, and yes, that person actually represents the rightful owner of this house. And we are also aware that this house is being sold. I said, okay, fine. And then he came back with me with that report, and I said, we're not done yet. The second thing is you need to make sure that this person that wants to sell this house, it's a registered agent. They have a professional office. You need to go to their office. Don't just do street sales. And guess what? They drove to Montana and they got to one of the luxury professional offices you can ever think of in a gated, business complex. And then they signed at the security entrance. They asked, do you know a business by the name so and so? They said, yes. Can I find it here? Yes. They signed them in. Off they went into that office block. There was a receptionist. There was a boardroom. The very same thing that happens when you go to a business. You will be asked, like you usually do to me when I come here, would you love coffee, Coke, or what?
So
or
all
coffee.
of that.
All of that happened. And then ultimately the guy showed up again, the very same guy that they met outside. He came, he said, please follow me to the boardroom. They sat down, and then he said, here's an OTP, the offer to purchase. Do you want to sign it? And he said, listen, I don't like signing these OTPs when the owner is not here, and I don't like making you meet the owner telephonically. It's good that you meet them in person. And he said, guess what? The owner is actually waiting downstairs in the car. Do you mind if we go there, because he's an elderly person? And let's go get her to sign. And they went downstairs and they signed. And he was able to talk to this elderly person, ask this elderly person if she is indeed selling the house. And she said yes. And then they were able to make an ID copy from the original ID of this particular person.
The elderly person.
Yes. So from there, I'm sure you too would be convinced that this is legit, because
it sounds
basically
so true
everything
and
that
legit.
Because particularly the fact that they have a physical office, you would think, oh goodness, if they ever run away with my money,
I know where they
are. I know where to find. I know what the name of the company is. I know who the agent's name is. I actually have their contact details. I know the name of the owner. I know the property. I've been to the property. I spoke to the tenants. And guess what? The guy was so convinced that he thought, let me just buy 2 of these properties, because this looks absolutely legit. And so he paid close to 800, I think, 1,000 rent. And long story short, 2 months later, he comes back because he can't.
The office is gone.
The office is, it's what do you say when it's up for the next? No, where, you know that notice where they put it up and say, it's if you want to hire this out, that sort of a notice, like it's open for lease. It's empty. And man, he starts searching up for these people. You call this cell phone number.
It doesn't work. It doesn't exist anymore.
You call this landline. It doesn't go through. You go to these people. Then you go back to that same house where you found these tenants.
There are no tenants there.
No, there's new people. And they tell you, we don't know what you're talking about. And the people that you say you found here, we don't know them. As far as we are aware, we are the rightful owner of this asset or this apartment. So get out of here. We don't know, or before we call the police. And it's where do you start even legally, to claim your money in a situation such as that?
And when searching that company, maybe through...
You know what happened is ultimately the guy then joined a WhatsApp group of a number of same victims of these, scams. And when he joined the WhatsApp group, I think he found out that in the Mamelodi area and the Pretoria North area and Attridgeville, I think there were over 360 victims that were scammed of this. And there's no enough evidence. The cost of getting someone to represent you in court or to hire a private investigator is just impossible. So these guys basically ran away with millions of people's money. So that's why I'm saying with investment scams, on the one part, it's some of them, they sail on big promises, right? And some of them sail on legitimate systems where it looks genuine on the outside. But most of them, it's I remember being invited to one of the investment scams as well, very famous one that went away with so many people's money in South Africa. But I remember, sitting down with this person, and they said to me, all we need from you minimum is 50,000 rand. And within a month, we will triple it. So if you give us 50,000, we're going to give you 200,000 rand at the end of this month, right? I'm like, hey, I've never heard of such rate of investment. Like, just, that's too good to be true kind of return. And they say, well, if you don't believe what we are saying, you then better come to our presentation, right? And see what people are living their life. While you are hesitant and thinking twice, people are living their life. You are left behind, right? And then I said, wow, I really want to go and have a look at this. Already I had my own doubts. And then I go to this place in a very exquisite venue, one of the famous hotels. And then we go there and we are sitting. The auditorium is packed. There's close to 300 people that are there. And then I'm looking at the presenters that are coming to give out these presentations, and all of them have testimonies.
Already.
So Sibongile stands there and say, I greet you, all of you, in the name of Jesus. You have to add that name to make people believe that it's legitimate.
Because you called Christians, well.
So sometimes people use the name of God and sometimes use even church to make people believe that this investment scheme is legit. So the lady stands there and say, I want to show you my pictures of before and after. This is before I joined this investment scheme. You can see my skin tone was terrible. You can see my fashion code, my style of fashion was bad. I did not have a car. I did not have anything. You can see I was wearing a uniform from this shop because I was working in retail, earning less than. And then she says, now let me show you the latest. And then she shows this house somewhere in Waterkloof. And then you see, this is my house now. And then she shows pictures of her driving a car. This is my latest car. And just to top it up, before she walks off the stage, then someone comes with those big checks. I actually thought that checks are gone. Like, no one writes a check for you anymore. But they still bring this big check with the Standard Bank or whatever logo. And then it's written there, in foreign currency, like this person has been paid 200,000 pounds. And the whole hall goes, whoa, and then they start clapping. And, the people that were invited to come there actually start feeling like they are losing time. The person that I was driving with said, you see what I mean? You see what I mean when you don't join? People, life is happening out there, and you better make up your mind as quickly as possible. And guess what? Long story short, and a lot of people started talking about that investment scam on social media. But I know people that have lost all their pension fund money. Some people went into early retirement, took out their provident fund, all of it, invested it in there. Some people took their lifelong savings and invested it in there. Man, it went so terrible. And that's just the nature of investment scams.
I would expect that when it comes to investment schemes, because you also mentioned investment schemes as well in that. I would expect that by now, as South Africans, we are weary of those. I mean, as a teenager, I saw people even being arrested.
Yes.
Yeah, because they started
but it never
scheme.
ends.
But it never ends. I think, Muruti, then we need to understand what drives that. Because, there are those ones that don't even mention pounds, but they will tell you that in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks, put in 80,000, you have doubled that amount.
Okay. I can tell you what makes it to become a vicious cycle. You say, well, it happened while I was a teenager. And
and it still
I'm
continues.
surprised to hear that it's still happening. It's because the scammers have upped their game. They have actually
But are they
made
working
it.
on your mind?
Yes, they are. Okay, let me tell you how this works. So if I meet you, let's say I want to scam you, and I want to scam 100 other people, I'm going to have money to at least give the first 20 people who come into that investment scheme.
Are they real
money.
people?
Real people.
Okay.
Real people. So I'm going to get Sibongile and her aunt and her sister and her brother and her pastor who has an access to a bigger congregation and who's more influential. I'm going to target influential people who have a very big network of people so that they can become my marketing agents. So when you come in as Sibongile and give me 10,000, I am faithfully going to give you back 100,000 at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So that it's convenient, it's true, because when you have experienced it genuinely, you're going to tell your mother, you're going to tell your sister, you're going to tell your brother, and you will tell them with every sense of honesty
Because
and conviction,
there
because
are
this is real
results.
money.
There are
There are results.
results.
And the people close to you can actually see those results. The people you work with, they can see that, oh, yes, you actually bought this brand or you bought that out of that money, basically. And then what happens, because Sibongile is an influential person who works on radio and has a big following on social media, everyone who sees her, people trust you and they trust your intelligence and your choice. Your followers do. So once you start advocating for that because you are in it and you benefited from it, all of your followers are going to join. Your family members are going to join. And then what investment scammers do is they put aside, they are also investing in scamming people, by the way. They also have a budget of scamming. Like, okay, we're going
But
to
they have
spend
to
$1 million.
bring all of that back.
We're going to spend $1 million, but we're going to bring it back as $1 billion by the number of people that we're going to scam. And along with that, what will happen is the testimonials, people who come and testify, some of them lie because they are part of the syndicates. So what would happen is, I would say to you, Sibongile, now you have joined, you are the part of the management team of this business. And now we are going to expose you to the business secret. So what we're going to do is we're going to hire you a car from a car rental company.
Right.
But when we get there, you better post this on social media and claim that it's actually your car. So you have people coming up, and we've seen that happens even in places where people are more prone to believing. That's why churches, unfortunately, and religious institutions have been used as places where people are scammed the most.
Harvest.
Because it's a place where there's huge currency of trust. People just believe without questioning.
Yeah, but that's where then pastors have to be weary of such things in the church.
But you see, the scammers make the pastors the beneficiaries at first place. So because what they are after is the influence that the person carries. They're not just going to recruit anyone who has no influence. If your following is less than 1,000, we don't want you. We want someone that people can believe, someone that people can follow, someone whose choice and decisions people out there are going to believe. So they will target specific individuals who are either influencers, content creators, pastors, and so forth, and get them to be in this thing, and so that they can get more people to join. That is investment scams versus investment scheme.
Yeah, that is like quite a lot, hey? That is quite a lot. Alrighty then, we are going to take a break. And think about this. And when we come back, Moruti, please give us the signs of how to recognize these when they come, because it's very easy. You can fall in easy.
Yeah.
What I've been thinking about as you're talking, I'm asking myself, do they make people like they bring the sense of urgency, like
yes,
or what? So I think when we come back, let's get into that. And greetings to Pastor Nozipora Kolota, who's tuned in right now, and Pastor Pepi Sile Sotezi, who says this is profound. Thank you to our guest, and that to Muruti Lebepe.
alone deserve the praise, Lord. We worship you, Lord. We worship you, Lord. We worship your holy name.
Zibandakanye nathi ekuguquleni impilo zabantu ilizwe liphela apha ku Radio Pulpit 657 AM.
Now you can live stream Radio Pulpit Jikelele, the new online station from Radio Pulpit, broadcasting in English and vernacular languages like Zulu, Setswana, and more. Listen to Christian radio that speaks to the heart. Visit radiopulpit.co.za or download the Radio Pulpit app. Click on Radio Pulpit Jikelele to live stream Christian radio wherever you are.
Tune in. Grow in faith. Radio Pulpit 657 AM.
Gave you the sounds of Mpo and the song that we gave to you today or just now. It's called Holy. That's the title of the song. We are sitting on 17 minutes just before 2 right here on Heart to Heart with me, Sibongile Mofokeng, with you up until 3 o'clock. I guess I'm with Pastor Lebepe, and we are talking about investment scams. Bishop Simpiwe A. Duma says, hi, Sibongile, my home, my family. Hi, Muruti. Thank you so much for being with us. And Bongi Murapedi says, an eye-opener indeed. Blessed day, family. And thank you, Muruti Lebepe, for educating us. Do remember, if you have experienced this firsthand, we would like to hear your story. We would like to hear your journey. The lines are opened on 012-334-1322, 012-334-1322. Our WhatsApp line 082-657-2729. Our SMS line 37871. So another family member says, hi, my sister, I almost fell. Okay. Let me take a family member and then we come back to that one. Hi, family. How are you?
I'm blessed beyond measure. How are you, Sister Sibongile?
Siyaphila babunkosi, welcome.
Amen. Pastor Lebepe ninjani lapho?
Ifukile minjani?
Mefukile.
Yo bengazi babunkosi wazisishangana.
Ngikutitimela ntsena.
Wow. Katitimela, yes.
Aye, come back to me. When I'm Nomfundisi Lebepe, come back to me. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sibongile. Lento lena ngihlale ngizibuza ngithi mara abantu asifundi ngani or asitshelani ayikhulunywa lento.
Yeah.
Ngobe Sibongile kunomunye umama ngo1991 ngisebenza ku North Eastern Transvaal Advice Office. Wafika khali inyembezi. Ba wafaki 3,000. After 3 weeks, we are in 9,000.
Okay. Then she took the 9,000 back.
Umyeni wakhe bekafaka imali ku account yakhe yokuthi bazowakha.
Yeah.
Wathatha yonke 39,000 wayoyifaka la.
In 1991, that's a lot of money then, even now.
Sure.
After 3 weeks, umabuya wathola ku house to let.
Yo.
And then so invite nabantu abaningi sebafakile imali zabo.
Yo. And then uthina sothi babunkosi bantu bakho.
Eish.
No. Angibazi nokubazi mina. Nethi ukuthi bengisebenza kunothi bafuna ama-advice ukuthi benze njani.
Ngisho ukuthi if kunguye osifakile lo muntu
uma invite yimi vele ndothi abantu bami. Iscam sami vele ngiyongizonda. Yenzeka khali inyembezi angazi ukuthi enzeni ngathi hayi lo uzozibulala lo.
Eish, yeah.
Ngacela amafoni number omyeni wakhe. Kwaba yimi engikhuluma nomyeni wakhe. Ukuthi kwenzekeni. And ngamchazela ngathi the way ya stress ngakhona ngazibulala.
Yeah.
Ngicela ukukhulume naye ngesineke umbonise ukuthi wenze iphutha mara nizondlula la kule phutha kalenzile. Sibongile labantu mayicabanga 1991 namhla naloku basarobha abanye abantu.
Exactly.
and abantu mubatshela ukuthi hayi bo manini lesi scam omyusis bamrobha 6,000 imtshela ngithi lesi scam hayi mina ngifuna thina sibe rich
exactly
mina manje ngafuna ukuba rich ihlala njani iyahamba imali Sibongile ibuhlungu lento lena ngiyabonga mfundisi wami.
Thank you so much, Babunkosi. Wow. Babunkosi is giving us an example of a couple that was robbed quite a lot of thousands. 39,000, did he say?
Yeah, and
in 1991.
And other people
that they brought in. And he says, is it because maybe we don't talk? Maybe why are people still being robbed even now? That's the question he's asking. Eish, Murit. Yeah, but yeah, I think the scammers put in something that tells you if you don't do it now.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine, there was one of the scams, I think it was okay, let me not mention the name of the scam that happened, but it was so popular not so long ago, before COVID. And I remember saying, what? And he says, I've put in 80,000. And I'm like, are you sure about it? And he says, we don't talk to people like you. See, you're negative.
Exactly. Yes. They make you feel bad for asking questions.
Yeah, you shouldn't ask questions. Just put in the money. Yeah. They get even angry if you don't put in the money. And he got 20,000. He lost 60,000 from that. Wow. At least he was amongst those who got something from it. Others never got anything. All right. Morudi, you were going to give us the signs of that. But before that, let me quickly read. Hi, my sister. I almost fell for that scammer's phone, me every day, and on Facebook. So I blocked them, and thanks to God, they are too clever. Aibo, I know them now. They are so persistent. Yeah, that's what the family member says. It says they are very persistent, very persistent.
Yeah.
Good day, San ma'am. I'm friend recorded gospel. Oh, okay. That's not for us. That's not for us. And Mama Nicoline Khadebe says, hi, I am tuned in. So Mama means
we're hearing.
So what are the signs and symptoms of these when they come? What do they look like?
One of our listeners has already said that there's persistence. People who look, if I'm going to give you money after you invest your money, why should I be the one nagging you?
Okay.
Like, who has the money here? The thing is, the investment scheme should have more money than you at first place. But if they start acting like they are the ones that are looking for money, by persistently calling you, it's already a red flag. Because, you see, if I have the money, why should I even bother calling you? You should be the one following after me because you should be the one fighting for an opportunity to invest. And we should be trying to block everybody away because we have just so much money. Any person who claims they have money but ask money from you, it's a scammer. Why ask money from me when you've got it? It doesn't work like that. So that's one sign, persistence, nagging, desperation, multiple follow-ups. And I remember I saved one person from making a transaction into a scam because these individuals would call them on a Saturday, on a Sunday morning, and they would send text messages Sunday evening with banking accounts and following up on payments. And I said, no, it doesn't work like that. You don't have investment schemes, placing pressure on you and even phoning you outside of office hours is completely unprofessional. And so once you start seeing signs of, persistence, desperation, nagging in, pushing you to invest, and also people who are just, very vague in a sense that when you ask questions, they either make you feel ignorant or they don't give you the right answers. Yeah. Those are some of the signs that you are getting into that. But other than, I'm just not, and I made a joke to someone and I said, maybe it's because I love money, man. I love money too much not to lose it easily. It's not easy for me. My risk appetite is low. I'm not a high risk investor at all. I'm comfortable with investments that takes long time. And some people say maybe it's because you are young, but not really. It's because I understand that real investments actually take time. So for an example, I always advise people, Sibongile, that, if you want to get into investment, you have mastered debt cancellation, you've cancelled your debt, you have capital preservation, you saved money, and you now want to get into the investment space. I say, invest in what I call institutional investments. Look at institutions that are reputable, that are registered, well known by everybody, and that have been there for years. I don't want to mention, but there's a lot of financial institutions and that that have got things like UTs, unit trust, ETFs, and all of those things. We know of those ones. They don't promise us an unbelievable rate of investment, like you're going to put in 1,000 and get 10,000. Once someone says that, like you said, if it sounds too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. I always say to people, if you take a shortcut in life, your life will be cut short. If you take a shortcut in life, your life will be cut short. There is no genuine, authentic investment scheme that promises the rate of return that is higher than the rate of inflation. No, it doesn't work like that. So once you get someone who says, put in this, we'll give you more than 30%, we'll give you more than 40%, and they promise you something that is way higher than the rate of inflation at the market price at that particular moment, get away from that. And please stop investing in unreputable, unknown, emerging Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes. You better get away from that. Exercise patience. Everything that is legitimate, it's going to take time. I'm comfortable, Sibongile, with getting 4.5% per annum, even if it has to be, on something that is more calculative, more understandable, and so forth. Anything shady, no, let it pass me by. You really have to exercise patience. Last week when we were here, a caller said, how do I cancel debts without affecting the quality of my life? And our answer was, there's no such a thing. If you want to be debt-free, there is no easy way out. It's going to cost you something. The same thing, I even said last week that nothing big in life is easy and nothing easy in life is big. Get that in your mind. There is absolutely nothing big in life that's easy. If big things were easy, we would all be big. But the reason why we all of us don't have money, it's because it's not easy getting money, and getting rich is not easy. So any person that is promising you quick and easy wealth, it's really preying on your ignorance, on your lack of financial education and literacy, and of the fact that you are so completely unaware of what is going on out there. And I would always say to people, Sibongile, that the other caution is this. One, do not invest in anything that you do not understand. Don't invest in anything. People have come to me and say, do you want to put money in forex trading? And I said, no, not because it's wrong. My mind is not tuned up to currency markets and indexing. I just don't have the passion for such kind of things. I don't have time to follow up on graphs that are going up and down. There are people who have the patience to look at these graphs and market behaviors. I'm not in that space. I am more of, I don't like putting my money in speculative investment where you never know. You might score. That's why I don't bet lotto, and I'm not against it. It's just that I'm not wired up to thinking speculative investment and speculative return. I want 1 + 1 = 2. I want to know that, listen, if I buy a property of 2 million, I'm only going to get about 2,000 return a month, because part of it will go to rates and taxes. And that, for me, it makes sense. And I would say to people, if it does not make sense, there's no sense in it. So don't put your money in it. So if it doesn't make sense to you, don't let anybody make you feel like, you are missing something, you are losing out, and all of that. And also be wise enough to know that the scammers have also become wise enough. The scammers have become aware that we believe what we see. And in the world of social media, what people have now done is, they know that people believe what they see. So they eat breakfast in expensive places. They borrow cars from other people. They wear fake labels and brands just to sell an idea or an image of success out there. And when people think that these people are actually successful, and we are a desperate, very poor nation in this country, and everybody can do with a little bit of money. I mean, there's practically nobody that doesn't want a bit of money, or let alone getting rich. There's so much pressure on the youth to wanting to become an overnight millionaire. But it doesn't work like that. One guy came to me and said, if I want to be a self-made millionaire, how much years do I need? And I said to him, you probably need a minimum of 5 to 10 years. And he walked away disappointed because he thought, oh man, I thought you are an expert in this thing. You'll tell me something I can do in 3 months. Guess what? There isn't something like that. And like I said, if you take shortcuts in life, your life will be cut short. Be prepared to know that generating wealth demands a lot of time, demands a lot of patience. Most millionaires are not even first generation millionaires. They are inheritance millionaires. Their parents have to work. Their grandparents have to build legacies that are only benefiting them now. So there is no quick wealth. There's no quick money out there. Be patient. Learn what you're getting yourself into before you even put a penny in it. That's where I would say. When you are pressurized, when you are told unreasonable figures, when people, he was pressurized in a way because like I said, people were making calls and say, pay now, pay now, pay now. If you don't pay now, we also have an offer.
No. I'm thinking about that one for who was supposed to buy an RDP house.
He was, because they were telling him that if he doesn't make the payment today, there's another person that's going to make the payment tomorrow.
So let the other people pay then.
Yes. Yes, let the other people. I remember one person actually telling me that, you saw the car that you wanted to buy. If you don't buy it today, it's going. I said, do you know how many cars we have in South Africa? 1 billion cars. So that's not the first or the last one. Let it go.
I'll still find another
People
one.
are preying on our desperation and on our impatience.
So don't be desperate.
And don't be impatient, please.
Moruti, thank you so much for ministering unto us yet again today. If we'd like to talk to Moruti Lebepe, how do we do so?
Okay, that is a very good question. You can reach me on WhatsApp line, and we can be able to share with you even the book that I have, Life After Death, on 071 352 4581. I'm going to say it again. It's 071 352 4581. That's a WhatsApp number. Talk to me there, and let's see how we get you all this information that will make you patiently become a millionaire.
I love the patiently part. Patience.
There's a scripture like that I love. It says, follow those who through patience and perseverance have received the promise. So how do we receive the promise? Through patience and perseverance. There are no shortcuts.
Thank you so much, Moruti. May God awesomely bless you. We are back on the 23rd. Oh, Moruti has taken off his headphones. We will be back with Moruti on the 23rd of June. Next week we are going to have our young people sitting behind this mic. So, Nali Moruti, we won't be here, but we are back on the 23rd. If you'd like to talk to Moruti Lebepe, he is available. And his numbers, again, 071 352 and 4581 071 352 4581. Alrighty then, let's get ready for our news bulletin, and I will be coming back afterwards, after the 2 o'clock news bulletin. Taking us there are the sounds of Cheryl Franklin. Go in your strength.